Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video, or welcome if you are new. My name is Ella and I'm 25 years old. I live in Adelaide and I currently work a 9 to 5 as a customer service specialist, so I do a lot of weekly vlog kind of work week in my life content, as well as some personal finance and money related videos. So if you guys are into that, definitely consider subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up as well if you enjoy. It really helps my channel out, and leave a comment. I love reading your comments. It's like my favorite part of all of this is reading through and replying to your comments. Got myself a cup of coffee, ready to kickstart this video. This one's a bit of a different one. Will I do it justice? I'm not sure, but a lot of people have requested that I kind of go into a little bit more detail about our personal finances and kind of how we manage our money. Ever since I started doing my monthly reset videos where I go through and like talk through our budget and what we are going to spend for the month, or what we plan to spend for the month, and reflect on the previous month's budget and like run through my goals and stuff, a lot of you guys have asked to see a little bit more detail on like a weekly or fortnightly basis about how we actually manage our money and like what we do with it and our different bank accounts and stuff. So I thought today would be the perfect opportunity to do this video. It is payday. We love a good payday. So I thought I'd kind of bring you guys through as I like move our money around. There's nothing crazy about it, I'll be honest. And I also want to preface this video by saying that I'm not an expert. I do not claim to be an expert. This is literally just what I do through trial and error. This is just what I figured out works best for me and my relationship and our situation, which I'll get into like the sharing finance side of things in a little moment. Definitely not an expert. Do I know what I'm doing? Absolutely not. Does anyone? I am no Dave Ramsey. I'm no She's on the Money of Victoria Devine. Like, I'm just a normal 25-year-old girl just figuring it out. But today I'm just gonna kind of go through and show you guys what I do when it comes to payday. So before I begin, sip of the coffee. Oh, first sip just hit stiff. That is a good cup of coffee, Ella. I don't know what I've done differently, but that just tastes really bloody good. Before I begin, I kind of wanted to touch on sharing finances because that was a big topic and I get a lot of messages about this from you guys. So if you've watched any of my reset videos, you guys know that Nick and I do share our finances, and we share all of our finances. Every single dollar. Like, we have no separate savings accounts that I'm aware of. All of our money and all of our accounts are combined. They're all joint accounts, so we both have full access. We have both of our pays put into the one account, and then we just kind of disperse our money amongst us. It definitely hasn't always been that way. In the beginning of our relationship, we would just like take it in turns, paying for things for each other. Like one time I would buy coffee and then the next time he would buy coffee. It doesn't always work out to be like 100% even, but we've always had like a very partnership mentality, I think, when it comes to money, which has definitely served us for the rest of our relationship. It's kind of like what's yours is mine, and eventually like it will always even out, unless it was like a big purchase or like an expensive dinner or like a big activity that was like expensive, then we would like transfer, but otherwise we would just take it in turns. So we've always had a pretty 50-50 mentality about money. And then about a year ago, probably almost to the day actually, it was like just before we got engaged, poor Nick, he just spent all this money on a ring that I didn't know about, and then I was like, okay, it's time to combine our finances. And I was like, is that it? Like, that's all you've got, love? And I knew that he had more money and I was like, okay, suspicious. But yeah, we combined all of our long-term savings together, still had separate spending accounts. And then eventually, once we were engaged and we were like planning a wedding, trying to buy a house, I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna have to do the damn thing. I definitely don't think it's the way to go for everyone. I think it really depends on your relationship and your personal relationship and your significant other's personal relationship with money. I think you've both got to be kind of on the same page. If someone is a big spender and then the other person isn't, I just feel like that's naturally gonna cause conflict in your relationship. And it doesn't mean that one way or like one mentality is better than the other. I think it's just about finding like a middle ground or like a good compromise. I know for a lot of people, to avoid that conflict completely, they will have joint accounts for their bills, joint accounts for like their long-term savings, and then they'll have their own spending accounts so the other person can't see what they're spending their money on. I think that's a really great idea if that works well for you. We didn't really explore that option just because money has never been a point of difference in our relationship, but I know that for some people it can be, and it's all like, it depends on your upbringing, it depends on your whole mentality about money and like what's important to you. And I think if you have any hesitation about combining your finances completely, then I think you should hold off on doing it. I had a few questions about that. A lot of people asked like, do you have separate spending accounts? We don't. yeah, we just don't really have a need to. I know that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with him, and I know that we have very similar spending and savings habits, and we have similar money goals as well. So we're definitely on the same page about that, which is really helpful. Okay, now getting into what we do on payday. And when I say we, I mean me. Ever since we got joint accounts, Nick has definitely taken a back seat in terms of our finances. I feel like that just naturally happens in a relationship. It's not to say that I like cut him off or don't inform him of like what's going on, but he just kind of lets me do my thing. It's just because I enjoy it, and he knows that I enjoy it, and he's indifferent. So this is what I do when it's our payday. I'm obviously not going to show you our exact bank accounts just for like security reasons, but I'll have a nice, well, hopefully I'll have a nice little visual for you guys just to give you an idea of what our accounts actually look like. So we have 4 separate bank accounts. The first one is our long-term savings account. So at the moment, this is for our house and also for our wedding. We're about to buy a house, maybe, and we're about to get married in 5 months' time. So those are our 2 big, I guess, like long-term goals. They're kind of like imminent now, but at the time when we made the account, they were our long-term goals. And this one is a high interest savings account. So as soon as we put the money in there, we do not touch it, just so that we can gain that interest. Our second account is our bills account. So this is the one where all of our direct debits come out of for things like our phone bill, internet, any of our utilities, so like gas, electricity, water, all of that stuff. I'm trying to think what else. Health insurance. I have a whole list on my phone, kind of broken up into the different payments. Oh, rent as well, obviously. Yeah, I have a whole list on my phone of like how much each thing costs, which I'll run through in a moment when we start transferring. And then our third account is our everyday spending account. So this is the one that's connected to our debit cards. And this one is the account where both of our pays come into. So they come into our everyday spending, and then we kind of disperse them into the separate other accounts depending on like what our expenses are for the fortnight. And we get paid fortnightly as well. I should have mentioned that. We both get paid on the same day, and we're on a fortnightly pay cycle. Then we have our emergency fund. So we have a couple thousand stashed away for emergencies, so unexpected costs that kind of pop up throughout the month that we just aren't ready for. So normally we don't touch this. We have a lot in the last couple of months. If you guys have watched my reset videos, a lot of unexpected car expenses that have come up. It is a savings account, so we do get a little bit of interest, but it's like very low. I also kind of double up our emergency fund as a short-term savings account. So if we have anything in the near future that I want to stash a little bit of money away for, but I know I'm going to spend it in the next couple of months, I'll put it in there as well, because it will gain a little bit of interest and I can touch it, like I can freely touch it, but it's separate from like our everyday spending. I don't like to keep a ton of money in our everyday spending because it is connected to our debit cards just for like security reasons. So that's the breakdown of our different bank accounts. Is it the best way to go? Maybe not. Maybe this is really confusing to some people, especially if you have multiple money goals. I kind of went a little bit more in depth on this in my last reset video. I'll have that video linked down below, but I do also have an Excel spreadsheet of our different savings goals and kind of how much in each account is going towards each of those things, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of how we do things. So now for the fun part, which is where we transfer our money. I really don't think there's any better feeling than payday, to be quite honest. Like just seeing that money in your account and then being able to like transfer to your savings. Oh, incredible. Okay, so we both, as I said, get paid into one account, which is our everyday spending. We just got paid, so let's see. We got paid $2,247 and $1,700 and a few cents, but I'll just like round it up. So our total combined paycheck for the fortnight was $3,947. Why does that sound like so much? This is like the perk of combining your finances. I feel rich. I'm like, oh my God, like almost $4,000. It was pretty incredible. Nick just got a pay rise, which is so exciting. I'm so proud of him. So we have a little bit more money to play with, which is nice. I'll update you guys in my next budget, but that is our figure that we're working with. The first thing I do before I do anything is set aside money for our bills, because I feel like that is just a given. Like it's probably the most important thing, is just making sure all our bills are paid, we're paying our rent. So we always set aside a set amount of $1,100 every fortnight. Sometimes we'll put a little bit extra in there, but normally it's around the $1,100-ish mark. Like if I know that our quarterly bills are coming up, maybe I'll like chuck an extra 50 in there. So we'll transfer that straight into our bills account. The only thing that we actually pay fortnightly is our gym membership and our rent. Those are the only two things that come out on a fortnightly basis. Everything else is on a monthly basis. So I find transferring a set amount across every paycheck just means that there's always money in there. Then when the bills do come in, the money's just sitting there. We'll just pay them straight away, or we'll like set up a direct debit so they just automatically come out. The money's in there, like don't have to worry. Our first expense from our bills is our rent, which is $740 a fortnight. Sounds like so much. Then we have both of our phone bills, which works out to be $67.50 a fortnight. Our internet, which is $34 a fortnight. Our car and home insurance, which is $40 a fortnight together. I get a really good deal on car insurance and home insurance because I work for an insurance company, so I get a nice little discount, which is great. Also, car insurance in South Australia is a lot cheaper than in like New South Wales and Victoria. I'm just saying. I hate to rub it in, but working in insurance, like I see the difference in the premium. I'm like, oh my god, you guys, you poor guys. Yeah, we're very lucky here in South Australia. The cost of living is definitely a lot more affordable. Then we have the gym, which is $10 each a week, so $40 for the fortnight. Then we have our health insurance. So mine is $20 a fortnight and Nick's is $65 a fortnight. His is a lot more expensive because he has hospital cover, which he needs, unfortunately, for his knee. Otherwise, we would be cutting that in half, let me tell you. And then the last thing that comes out is our utilities. These come out on like a quarterly basis, so every 3 months. And it really varies from quarter to quarter how much those bills will be. But I feel like now that we've been living out of home for a while, we kind of have a better understanding of like how much gas and water will be. Electricity is expensive. I try and be like over prepared rather than under prepared, and I feel like $100 a fortnight is kind of a reasonable amount to just set aside. So the total amount that I transfer into our bills account every pay is $1,100. After I make that transfer into our bills account, we are left with $2,847 left to play with. And this is money purely for either spending or for saving, which is why I love doing this. Just like automatically, without thinking, just transferring a set amount every paycheck into a separate account for our bills and just like not worrying about it. Like the money's accounted for. We never have to worry about a bill. Like the money's just sitting there, like ready to go. All the direct debits come out of there. If we do get a bill coming in, we'll just take it out of our bills account, and it's just, it's so much easier. Now that I've been doing this for a while, I kind of know like how much we typically spend. So I will leave usually between $1,000 and $1,200 in our spending account, which is connected to our debit card, because normally we'll spend between $500 to $600 a week between us both. That includes things like groceries, petrol, coffee, just like general spending money. We normally spend between $500 to $600 a week. Kind of sounds like a lot, but life is expensive and there is two of us as well. Sometimes it'll be more and sometimes it'll be less. If it is less, I will just automatically transfer that money into our savings account after our next pay. If I don't spend that money in the fortnight, I'm not going to force myself to spend it. I'll just automatically put it into our savings account when we get our next pay. So from here, we're left with $2,847. I know from that we'll need probably $1,200. I'm just going to say. So that leaves us with $1,647 left to put into our savings. At this point, I'll refer back to our budget for the month and see kind of what our savings goals are. I know that we want to save $2,000 for our house settlement, so I will transfer $1,000 into that account into our long-term savings. There we go. And then that leaves us with $647 also to save, and I'm just going to put that straight into our emergency fund, which we're trying to build back up. So yeah, that's all I really do on payday. Pretty simple, nothing crazy, nothing revolutionary, but hopefully that was helpful or insightful for you guys. And any extra money that we get, whether it's like extra pay, so if I work overtime or later shifts and I get extra money from that, YouTube money, sponsorship money, I would just put straight into our long-term savings. We'll just put any extra money into our savings. We don't, or we try not to spend it, because I feel like it can be very tempting. Yeah, hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this. If you have any ideas or tips for myself or anyone else. Like I said, I'm really just learning as I go. I'm definitely not an expert by any means. This is just what works well for us in our current situation. But yeah, hoping you guys enjoyed this. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.